I can't seem to remember what I'm doing here or where I was. I can't seem to remember what I may be in a state of insane premonition because I'm leading. I'm leading you or saving you, having preceded the moment when you might be violent. I smiled, and instead you smiled back. The dead aren't violent, whom I am with, who go with me, skilled at being dead. They continue to invent the diction of the dead, the collage of the new death made of the known but now different. Though I can't remember where I've been, where I'm going, I'll try to change every minute I'm in if I must. I will change your sense of the beautiful and elegant, I insist, calling back steps ahead, that what now comes is not future, but a collage of pressed colored winds, the vocalese we are. I've told you I'm changing and advancing into enlightenment, changing how you were once a universe, and now you are what? What's a soul? What's anything? This language will resist us. Is it even ours or us? And must turn to face you suddenly. I know I must turn and say, in this place of our room of all on the escarpment of ice and lights, it has been given to me to be your, I know no other term, savior. I don't know what it means, but I face you. I couldn't turn around before, though I knew it would come to this, as if harsh light on a desert tree, as if I would leave my home forever, or my former interior, as if you would mock me, sweetheart, with your deadwood eyes. As if the solar winds parched my face and my mind, though I bled from my forehead and the wound between thumb and forefinger. Didn't I previously deal with our sorrow? Isn't this an ancient film shown over the new creation? Who are you, you say? But do I know? Yes, this is what I do. There was nothing left for it. You have found me. What does it mean? Whatever happens, you aren't sad because of this. Remember, there is one alive, carries it with her, the web of misfortune. The desiccating veil is just a trick of your own eye, perhaps. I've signed up for everything. Now I turn and paste it on, stumbling. Stand upright with the glue of it slightly pink, affix it, wearing my remarkable crown that's transformed repeatedly thorns to ribbon to slender coronet. I never wanted, try to end and can't, in Paris or St. Mark's at first, or on the star Alphard. I am nothing but invisible essence, my first kiss. I was only what we are, then I became less, didn't I? From spirit become flesh and degraded into suffering. I abased and strange here. I who identify with no one, have no verb now, but lead, paste, or save everyone. What is saved then of the others who love each other corporeally? The blessing must be death. No, there should be another one. For in this earth life I pass through, I'm transported mid-moment, any moment to death's grace, or saved thus. You are too. How embarrassed you must be, you say, to speak like this. It's when I'm embarrassed that I know I've arrived. Where I lead you, what our paste is and what we paste on are one. But now that that's the dead pasting, know the live too. How muscular I sound, the tripartite leading of those who can follow the snow down upon, the rained on, the perpetually discovered by other substance. Love falls on you wherever you are if you can perceive it. I stand where the language envelops me. True, I bleed for it. Yes, I give up to you the fact that I've bled for it, and so for you.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up tonight. That was a poem from a 2023 reading by Alice Notley at the Hemingway Center at Boise State University, which you can find on Penn Sound if you want to hear the whole 10 minutes of the poem, as well as the rest of that particular reading. We just barely got that set up. We're not exactly tech experts, and actually this event tonight, while it has in some ways been planned for the last few months, it's also the part of the planning has extended into like 15 minutes ago, with some people still deciding what they want to read and us still wondering who's going to come. So if it's not organized, You know, we're not going to read from early works of Alice Notley right through to the latest works. Rather, I'm going to call people up and we will just listen to them. I mean, I think what you're hearing is so many people from both Tucson, but we have visitors who are participating from Providence, Rhode Island, from San Diego, from New Orleans, who want to honor Alice by reading her work. And this is presented by Chax Press and by POG, two of Tucson's nonprofit literary organizations, one presenting and one mostly publishing, but sometimes presenting. And this is one of the few times, actually, we've come together on one event in this place, which has a history for both organizations going back to the mid-1980s, for one. And that history is punctuated by trains, as it always has been. And I know we have a lot of people tonight, so I just want to move the microphone up, and I'll turn this off.
Charles, do you have a video you want to show before you do that?
Not right now. Okay. Don't put that away, because we'll have another video in a little while. Right now, though, we need to move this back a little bit, or is this going to be okay?
It's all right.
All right. I think it's fine, as long as there's no buzz or anything that interferes. And I think I warned Kathy Wu that she was going to be the first reader. And so Kathy, would you come up? Do we want a light that will shine to help the reader? Do we want to make their work? Can we do that?
We can do that. We can do that.
Checking the mic. We're checking the mic.
No, it's just getting it up to the mic. There's this switch.
Is there a switch on the mic?
Switch on.
Yes.
It's right here.
Hello.
Turn it on.
Hello. 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 There we go.
Oh, very sincere.
Microphone.
Thanks.
Good train impression.
Hi, it's good to see everyone. Thanks so much, Charles, for inviting me to this. And happy to think of Alice together. I'm going to read Endless Day, this beautiful train backdrop. Oh, me being me, designed to satisfy the gods, feeling it just as one. Need not know that every experience is a mystical one. The sun shines, the lamp shines, the albers glows. What a nice day. The doors open and shut, and when they shut, you're either in or out, right? In a supreme mental clarity, though its validity often appears in doubt to you, not to mention art in America. Who thought up this vocabulary? One day, in our air, I say. Music is an emotion, month. Poetry is an emotion, bird. Painting is evidence. Oh, John Covert, I was trembling like a gallows. I was sopping wet with every bit of God knows nothing, what I was trying to hide, a lack of an abstract, mystical expression for. His world, his ringling, her world, her ringling. Brother, his world. Sister, her world. The life of a saint, the life of a saint. The world is the saint. Honey, sweet, sweet, hearty. The world is as fresh and free as its heart of yours, olive, black, aggressively anti-illusionistic, I'll bet. Brilliant, sparkling, crusade, Mourning and fucking with gestural looseness, with regal tension, with feathery, beautifully fleeting visions, in praise of the dead. O you in your frames each, splash that is alive forever, as the white lights a salt shaker, a splash alive forever. A rosary is so pretty, a splash alive forever, which are perhaps a little dull, a splash alive forever. Clashes from wall to wall, a splash alive forever. A small courteous gesture, a splash alive forever. Do I believe? I'm busy saying, a splash alive forever. Crevice for love to enter and fill, a splash alive forever. Riding the billows selves to the waves, a splash alive forever.
One of those who helped to organize this and other things POG does, Paola Valenzuela.
Hey everyone. Thank you. Someone arrived. The goddess who created this passing world. The goddess who created this passing world said, "Let there be light bulbs and liquefaction." Life spilled out onto the street. Colors whirled. Cars and the variously shod feet were born. And the past and future, and I born too. Light as airmail paper, away she flew. To Annapurna or Mount McKinley, or both, but instantly. Clarified, composed, forever was I, meant by her to recognize a painting as beautiful or a movie stunning, and to adore the finitude of words and understand as surfaces my dreams. Know the eye the organ of affection, and depth to be inflections of her voice and wrist and smile.
And another visitor from New Orleans, from Dialogos and Lavender Inc. presses, essential presses right now, and a friend to many here, Bill Lavender.
Okay, I guess it is. All right. Maybe I'll just do this. It's nice to be in. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. Yeah. It's nice to be in Tucson. First time in my life. You guys have a great place here. Great scene. 30th birthday. May I never be afraid, especially of myself, but Muhammad Ali, are you telling the truth? Well, you're being true, aren't you? And you talk so wonderfully in your body that protects you with physique of voice, wraps within dance. May I never be afraid, rocked and quaked. The mantilla is lace, whose black is oak. But if I'm dark, I'm strong as my own darkness. My strength, the universe, whose blackness is air. Only starry lace. But if I'm afraid, I'm strong as life, strong as the violets in Marlon Brando's fist. His dissemblance flourished into truth. She took them, I'd take me too. I do, and my Ali I see you, a hard, bright speck of me, the savage formalist, authentic deed of gossip, a kind body.
30th birthday to Alice's 80th today. So I was going to say, I don't know if she ever was afraid, but probably more likely, if she ever was afraid, she just went ahead anyway. And those of you who know her know that. Okay, I would love to hear from John Levy. Thank you. Okay, I'm reading from Certain Magical Acts. You talk to me in your sleep, the only time you talk to me. You call me indigent or some such shit. I'm a watcher of doves. That's my profession. I invented myself, observing the doves here in our province or Providence, where I'm allowed, because I allow myself, to sit beneath trees in the park, quiet, thinking of the other jobs I too have. Inspector of a tangerine, Archduke of space around me, theoretician of rustling paper bag life, elder watchman of light, that the sun come up again, fanciful, useless, etc. Your jobs shit behind a bush. Your jobs create a miserable planet of bad air, stress, and warfare. Even when you teach how to get ahead. There is no ahead. And there's less of it, of no ahead, than there once was. You think you support me, coins, even government checks. I support you, making sure the world's observed for what it is, so it can go on. I can't do it alone much longer. I'm beginning to hate you, and that's bad for me. I had to stop drinking. I'd become too angry. When I slept, I was I'm having trouble with the word. When I slept, I was indignant. I didn't embrace the universe's motions so it could keep moving within its own self. You think that's mechanical? Assholes. You've killed the common will to love, changed us into a disagreeable space of steel and tension, meanness. I keep it all going, muttering in the night's pumps. The doves themselves moan in their sleep. They cover me, dreaming they can't fly, and their throats are stopped up. Thank you. Nellie Papsdorf, please. Is she here? Okay.
Quick story.
Quick story. I don't know about a story. I was just been thinking much in going over her work in the last couple of weeks how uncontainable Alice is. I don't think any of us could contain her in our imaginations. And in a way, that means it goes from these words on this paper out to the cosmos. It's just unstoppable. And I wouldn't normally think of her having so much to do or a good relationship with a poet we had 3 weeks ago in POG, Will Alexander. But both of their works has that trajectory from the page to wherever in this universe. So Nellie Papsdorf, please.
Hello. Thank you so much for putting this all together, everyone that was involved. I'm a big Alice fan, as I'm sure everyone here is. Happy birthday, Alice, wherever you are. I'm just gonna read this short poem from At Night the States, which is a personal favorite. I couldn't find my copy of the book, so I have to read it from my journal. So we'll hope that the handwriting does me good. It's called Unsightly Star, but sight is spelled S-I-T-E. Being a little poet there.
Actually, it agrees with you.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've stood in front of so many people. Okay. Unsightly star, forced to consume by use, like always to be consumed in use. The Hulk stays sane. We're having a spirit contest. Because in the main series, Rick Jones died in his head. To sleep, dream, I believe. I know why the Hulk went berserk. He believed that love was meant for when people used to be dumb. Hurt next April. Now they're desperate to see. But I believe in this trial. The 1,000 arms of love, almost unrecognizable love, because the little self is canny.
I think there are lessons here. I'd love to hear Wyatt Welch next.
Hi, everybody. Nellie, hi. So good to see you. Yeah, so Alice Notley, incredible. My friend introduced me to her, and we were going to Paris. We were backpacking, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna email Alice Notley. So I said, Alice, hi, we're two witches from your desert. We love your work. She responded back, and she was like, great, love to hang out with you. So when we ended up going to Paris, we met her at a cafe. We ordered coffee, and she ordered like a large chocolate shake. And she talked a lot about her mom and stories about growing up in Needles. And it was so great. I was just blown away by how just open and accessible she was to just everyone in the street. And the volume of her genius. I'm convinced she was in touch with something else. And I'm so excited to read this one poem for you all. It's in The Descent of Alette, and she goes into the underworld, and she's on the trains. And this poem is really beautiful. A mother and child were both on fire continuously. The fire was contained in them, sealed them off from others, but you could see the flame, halo of short flame, all about the conjoined bodies who sat. They sat apart on a seat for two at the end of car. The ghost of the father sat in flames beside them. Paler flames sat straight ahead, looking straight ahead, not moving. a woman, another woman in uniform from above the ground entered the train. She was fireproof. She was gloves, and she took the baby away from the mother, extracted the burning baby from the fire they made together. But the baby still burned, but not yours. It didn't happen to you. We don't know yet if it will stop burning, said the uniformed woman. The burning woman was crying. She made a form in her arms, an imaginary form to settle in her arms where the baby had been. We saw her fiery arms cradle air. She cradled air. They take your children away if you're on fire. In the air that she cradled, it seemed to us there floated a flower like a red flower, its petals curling flames. She cradled, seemed to cradle the burning flower of herself gone. Her life, she saw whatever she saw, but what we saw was that flower. Thank you.
There's a lot of flowers in those images by Alice, if you noticed in the slideshow. Always. I would love to hear from Susan Briante.
Hey everyone. Thank you Charles and Pog and Chax and Steinfeld Warehouse for bringing us all together. Thank you Alice. So November 8th, 2016 was Alice's birthday, and she was here, and it was election night. And we had the pleasure of having her at our house for some of that night. And she said she would come over if no one would watch the election. So we didn't until she left, which was good, because it pushed away a little pain. And she told a story about her dad. I think he was, Farid, you might remember it better, but I think he was part of something like a Masons or a Rotary Club, and that they would do sort of appropriative indigenous performances that involved snakes. So for Alice's birthday, we bought a cake and some rubber snakes and had them at our table, and I wore my snake earrings for her tonight. I'm going to read from Mysteries of Small Houses, and I'm going to read a poem that rearranges my brain every time I read it, called 1992. It's dark down the Rue Calencourt, where I don't want to be in a red silk shirt. When we first ate at Au Pied de la Butte 5 years ago, this wasn't my city. It was us, not unmoored. I'm walking with you. It's raining. We're wet. Down the hill, down some steps. Towards the bridge, over Montmartre Cemetery. Over history, dead great men unlike me. I've always wanted to be a dead great man, though not exactly dead, but I'll never make it. Partly because I'm not a man. Partly because this is no world for greats. Anyone's buried under dross of so many made prominent by technology's pomp of produce and its certifying empire. I have a dream of staying at that Hotel Ibis. I want to lie in sterile, Americanized arms. What was I? Feared to be no one here. You aren't you and I'm not I, but that's why I came here. To see how I change implies that I sees and registers the change, unchanged. haven't youth now with which to conquer a few, have only a tradition in poetry bound up in me, which who wants in a world where all art's patiently successful, ratified by treaty, packaged by conglomerate, celebrated by comment, and dropped to consider real business. Prize, photos, advances, GATT Business English, the MLA, the Booker Prize, Oxford, Cambridge, the New York Publishing House's Pulitzer, MacArthur, Dorothea Tanning Award administered by the Academy of American Poets, the Penguin Poets, the Blood Axe Poets, the New Direction Poets, NAFTA, the New CIA, the Market, the Stock Exchange, empty, as I am, except for myself, who observes me, both lovingly and detachedly, in my tradition. I'll make a poem for you, which holds locked up a living voice, the keys on your own tongue. I'll teach you some things about Berrigan, Paget, Kiger, Thomas, Oliver, Riley, or how to win a poetry prize given out by yourself. But that's not the ending. It's walking in a wet Parisian dark that's utilizable, every inch, even used up. Thank you.
Maryrose Larkin, please come up.
I think that's okay. Can people hear me? Excellent. It was my dream to actually have like a tech support come around and move things for me because, I'm really short and, I've been doing it myself for a long time. Anyways, I just want to give a moment of grace that we are all here together celebrating Alice, celebrating language. So, I'm not an academic and I spend most of my time in my house staring at my computer telling people your database needs to do this better. And nobody cares about language at all. So to be amongst everyone here cares about Alice and everyone here cares about language. So thank you for that. I was going to read Songs for the Second Unborn Baby, but of course I couldn't find the book because that's how I roll. So Charles handed me a book and he told me don't read 6 pages. So I'm going to read part of section 11 of In the Pines. I'm the ghost behind your definitions. I was his angel double. He sat up in the hospital bed to talk to the spirits in the room. When there was such pain in his cut-up spine and his double sat up in his body, sat up without any discomfort, to speak to the dead. And there was no mind-body problem. I witnessed this scene, but I couldn't understand what he said. Who are the living? What about them? Don't you know who you are? You are rat-like, the angel. And the angels laid him away. Please don't leave me here again. But I'm left. And if I can't get along with you, with all you, what will I do now? Saying this life is compelled, I traveled to my turbulence for another injection of the medicine. Treat me, needle. I went to the doctor to be healed. What else would a doctor do but heal me? I'm not too gone to be healed, am I? I'm not too gone, am I? But he couldn't be healed. If I can be, will I feel guilty? The wind, nothing. Everyone treat me gently. Conscience goes to a spell, so I simplify. You simplify. I'm casting a spell of protection. It might last an hour in this air. We should know that we can't stand long. A white bird flies up from a midnight blue sea. If you wanted to dance a long time ago, there's a beauty imposes no question in the process of losing edges until the bird's eyes are clear to see. 2 circular lines. You were alarmed because you had to fly, but now you're a high-flying bird, white light with no symptoms. She's gone. She and the doctor together could not hold back her double, but I thought my love was her other aspect, he said. We were in that outer room where one waits for word. I already knew the doctor's news would be bad, because you've seen them, how they fly up behind your ears. I've seen so much there, the only gold. I've seen that I wear it there. I've seen you, all my other doubles too. Please help me, I'm sick. That's all right, I'm here. The yellow gold image behind my eyes, leading me on, he said. The new species. Part bird, part rat, part voice, part elephant. Trying to forget, but you can't do that.
I remember when the trains were not separated from the street, and so the horn didn't blast once, but kept on blasting, and the readings in here often were interrupted for 4 minutes at a time or so for that, which is actually, I kind of love that. I'm not sure everyone did who read here. But I would like to hear now from, I had this mapped out, let's see. John Malillo. Yes. Also one of the POG stalwart.
Yes. I try to be. Messed up the sound a little bit today. That's okay. Alice Notley, the poetry and the way that the poetry makes music to me is really so fascinating, so amazing, so beautiful. The way that the music of the poetry is not necessarily a kind of versification or even one typical line, as anybody here knows that the poems often look so all over the place on the page. But the music comes from an ear for the ambient linguistic atmosphere in a way of kind of keeping that going, continuing on, and yet developing it and varying it. And I've always just been fascinated just to hear Alice Notley perform. And when I heard her read here that same time that she was visiting in 2016 around certain magical acts, I was really just blown away by the kind of oceanic force of her voice, which is multiple voices, of her language, which is multiple languages. So this is from Benediction, a book published by a friend and formerly of Tucson poet Joshua Marie Wilkinson. And I'm not going to read the whole poem because they're all too long and I've already talked too much. But I just want it to be a sort of gesture towards the way that we almost can't ever contain Alice Notley, that it's always going to be so much longer than a single poem or even a single book. So this one is called Poison. And again, I won't get to the end of it. At night, near the auto supply, I hang on a wall, my poster, which is framed next to another poster. It's larger than, and the glass in its frame is composed of pieces of shattered glass glued together into the rectangle. Maybe it's a circus poster with a tiger or man or something else dangerous. No, I don't know. Something I still can't see except for its unity, except for the fact that I finished the crystal rectangle, which I don't think of in the dream as crystal. I now think both posters are by me. One is what the poem would have been. This will be a larger work, must be. All the shattered pieces have been put back together, but something is under them. What do I see? Why can I only see the image about the shattered glass has been, after the shattered glass has been superimposed upon it? It's all coming from you, a live voice says to me. I mean, a not from the crystal voice. Answer, there's nowhere else for it to come from. I can't trust anyone for this information, and actually, I can trust hardly anyone intellectually, because I was brought up in an auto supply. I was running in a long, gray, cave-like tunnel. There was a turn ahead. Then there were people running away from that direction towards me, thus away from where obviously I must go. And those people, they shouted the word cloak. Then figures appeared cloaked in white covers over their entire substances, or they were simply white cloaks and had no facial features and no limbs. They were images, as was the word cloak. I awoke and someone had said, it's 7 o'clock. Clock is cloak. Time is a cloak for your second body, perhaps. There is a prevalent fear of the cloak. I'm going to rip off and removing. The second body is what you're looking at, because you're not looking hardly ever. And that's also how you talk without edges. I'll stop there.
John, I want to get John to stay up a minute, and we're going to switch briefly to a video sent by a friend who lives sometimes here in Tucson, but more in New York, Noland. And so we need to reconnect the sound to that, and we'll do that. And so,
also, while I'm in front, I just want to invite everybody to a space called Wave Archive, which is 2 blocks away, which is having an after party for this reading, as well as for mini readings happening for Alta Conference itself at 10 o'clock tonight. So after you're mingling and after we read all these poems here, please come over to Wave Archive. And Ugly Duckling Press has brought some readers in, and we'll have a couple musical acts as well. So please keep the night going at 10 o'clock over there. There's posters at the entrance if you want to know where to go.
and if anybody wants to take this moment to grab a little something to drink or eat, that would be fine. But we'll be going.
Okay, I think we're good.
I think we're good.
I hope
Okay.
so.
Okay, so this is from the Alice Notley Memorial at St. Mark's Church in New York this past spring. And it features Noland, Oliver Ray, and
Shazad.
Yes.
This Molly.
You need to turn the projector on.
Oh, yep. Should we stop this? Okay. So it's a little gray, but it should be all right.
Alice Bob Rosenthal, and we are Nolan, Oliver Ray, and Shazad Ismaili.
This is also from The Descent of Alad.
In a station, I saw a woman crying. She stood against the wall, looking dirty and exhausted, crying quietly. I asked her who she was and why she was crying. She said, I am a painter. I have been trying to find a form the tyrant doesn't own. Something he doesn't know about, hasn't invented, hasn't mastered, hasn't made his own. In his mind, not rectangular, not a sculpture, not a thing at all. He owns all things, doesn't he? He's invented all the shapes. I'm afraid he's invented mine. My very own body, she was hysterical. Did he invent me? I want to do something like paint air. Perhaps I even want to invent air. I've painted thin, transparent pieces of plastic, and the pictures on them, always turn rectangular or circular. I once painted on a bat's wings. I caught a bat and painted colors on, let it loose, and watched the air change. He owns form, doesn't he? The tyrant owns form.
And since he's already here, I think Oliver will be the next reader too. But thank you, Noland, yes.
Can you give me a check on there? Just a check.
Check, 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 check. Is it still on?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on.
Hello.
Again?
Check, check, check.
Okay.
That's better. Okay.
Hello, friends. Thank you to Chax and Pog and Noland for introducing me to the poetry scene in a city I've lived in for almost 20 years and been a hermit. And I'm so happy to have been introduced to all of you and this wonderful community of poets and writers and creators of all sorts. And I think that this is such a special night to celebrate the birthday of Alice and all of the Day of the Dead processional ceremonies. And it was making me think about how the dead like to be read to. Because apparently when you're dead you can't read, but you can listen to people reading to you. And so if you ever want to connect with your loved ones or anyone who's passed over, pick up a book, read them a poem. And before I read Alice's thing, I'll just read a little thing. It's difficult to know how long you'll be an embryo in the everlasting womb before you're ready to be born again to earth, different than you knew before. Where you are, long tables of the library are empty. The names you carved each time look strange. Out the window, tugs push up upon the slow, cold water. All you wanted was the sky and another shot to feel. You smoked on the roof in your gown, so wild, and they took turns brushing knots from your hair. I imagine Alice in the hospital in Paris. And you hardly noticed when you put on your clothes and walked outside, the sky had forgotten all about you. And you stepped out of one life into another and forgot all about you. And read to the dead the stories we used to tell. They remember the ones you even threw away were no accident. And this, I'm grateful to Charles for choosing for me these. What book does this come from, Charles?
Waltzing Matilda.
Waltzing Matilda begins here. It's amazing without the light of the screen how it becomes difficult to read these days. All my life, since I was 10, I've been waiting to be in this hell here with you. All I've ever wanted and still do. Postcards, February 17th. Dear Barney, the ashtray is full and the natives are listless. But there is a swell love hanging out on the corner where they sell souvenirs to the grenadiers and girls from the seaside. And I've bought me a pink culotte and a racy sort of vest to wear with those remarkable earrings you gave me. How are you and that boy who's a man whom you did that to on the day after Valentine's Day? The weather here is good for taking the wrinkles out of clothes. Rainy. Love, May. February 18th. Dear Reginald, I still love your body, most aberrantly being consumed with hatred of your loathsome soul, which refuses to lend me your body for a single violet evening of your stay at our picturesque little resort, which is all that we have here except for, too briefly, you. I keep your lost or cast off cigarette holder, the ivory one, with me always. But you are mean, mean, mean. Jesus and Buddha are made nervous and sad by your cruelty to humanity. Me. Love, Conjecta. February 19th. Dear fuckface. Everyone thinks you're the goddess of compassion, but I know you also have piles and a scarcely controlled urge to sing for a living. So much for you. Here, everything is stupid as I have a dwindling flu which necessitates my finally paying attention to my dwindling pocketbook. How about some bucks, goddess baby? Any amount above 5 I'd appreciate, and continue to light at your altar the incense I steal from the Neo Rocky Mountain health food store. I still like you either way. Love, Bubbles. February 25th. Dear Nutso, while it's pretty blank around here, the cat is hungry and hubby has to get up early, those two paired are not a significance for your cheap little mindlessness to ponder. How could I ever miss you? Every time I do, I slap myself on my cheek and read a chapter of the new hairdresser's manual. If you should ever get normally sentient enough to notice the weather, you might drop a line to your love, Margie. And finally, March 6th. Dear Francis, I miss you very much, although you are always here too. There I go, in trouble in a sentence, distracted by the weather, so silky-aired, like Hawaii, which weather is reminding me of you while I'm being distracted from you, from writing to you. I guess you are the weather, practically, and today I like the weather so much. And also I can't be in it without thinking, and on rainy days blame you for acting like I have to grow up like a hollyhock or something. So I'm going for a walk. Alice.
We all probably have stories about Alice barely containing the singing. I remember walking with her in Tulsa, Oklahoma after a dinner, after a conference on Tulsa poets. And she was singing at the top of her lungs from the musical Oklahoma. So, and we joined. Okay, I would love to hear Katie Zale. Hey, there you are.
This book, The Descent of Alette, it was written over 30 years ago, but I find it prophetic of what's happening today. It's a revisioning of the Inferno, Dante's Inferno, and in this case, she sees us, sees the world as in the Inferno, and talks about the tyrant, which perhaps, at least I can speak for myself, that we're focused on feeling, the pain of what's going on in the world today as if we are in the Inferno, and that there is a tyrant to blame. She takes us in a different direction. So it begins, and I'm going to jump to the end where actually there's a rising out of the Inferno. One day I awoke and found myself on a subway endlessly. I didn't know how I'd arrived there or who I was exactly, but I knew the train, knew it, knew riding it, knew the look of those about me. I gradually became aware, though it seemed as that happened, that I'd always known it too, that there was a tyrant, a man in charge. The fact that we were below the ground, endlessly riding our trains, never surfacing. A man who would make you pay so much to leave the subway that you don't ever ask how much it is. It is, in effect, all of you and more, most of which you already pay to live below. But he would literally take your soul, which is what you are, below the ground. Your soul rides this subway. I saw on the subway a world of souls. On the subway, we rode the trains, got on, got off, sat and watched, sat and slept, walked from car to car, stood in stations. We were caught up in the moment, the movement in ongoingness, and in ongoingness of voices. For example, which of us spoke? Did it matter? Who saw what was being seen, knew what was known? Gradually, what was seen became what I saw. To me, despair and outrage, because became mine too. Sorrow became mine. To ride a mechanical contrivance in the darkness, to be steeped in the authority of another's mind, the tyrant's mind. Life of bits and pieces, cars and scenes disconnected, little dreams, false continuum, mechanical time. What do we miss? Was there once something else? There are animals in the subway, but they are mute and sad. There are singers, there are corpses. There is substance of darkness and emotion, strong emotion. The air is all emotion. A woman entered. A car I rode had a misshapen, slowing foot, and she wore thick lensed glasses. Her eyes were small, over-focused. She carried a cup, announced, "I need enough money, the amount is $18, to take my daughter above the ground for one night, just one night." I promised her a night above the ground. "Money will not be enough," a woman said to her. "Not just money. He wants your things, your small things, your emblems, all your trappings. You must give up to the tyrant, all your flowers, all your carnations, or your cut hair. Give him your hair. You must give him your jokes, your best jokes. He takes whatever, makes fun of it, but uses it. Give him your only silk scarf, your tiny turquoise pendant, your old-fashioned watch, your copper barrette, and your nail polish. Give him your lotion, your gardenia perfume. Give him your coat too, but keep your sweater. Let him take what he wants from your wallet, red leatherette coin purse, and then he'll let you go upstairs and walk around in our times. He will smile his boyish smile and let you go up there for a little while." And I'm going to jump to the end of this. As I emerged from the subway, a brown darkness gathered before my eyes, took on a shape, became a swirl of blurred wings, which then steadied, held still in air. It was my owl self confronting me, but spectrally, unreal and real, transparent, present. It looked at me dispassionately, with yellow, ungiving eyes, as if I were of no real consequence. Then re-emerged with me, disappeared back into myself. I accepted it, carried the tyrant out beneath the new sky. The sky looked ancient, still and ancient that morning. All traffic had stopped. All commerce had stopped. Bricks were artifacts. Windows, holes in the stillness, in the light. I laid the tyrant down on the street before the crowd. "This is not really his body," I said to them. "The structure we've just left, those around us, this city, how we've lived in his body." A woman then picked him up and folded him, his cloth-like body, till he was a small square shape. And then she laid him aside. "Must we continue to live in this corpse of him?" a man asked. "We can change it, of course," someone said. All of the lost creatures began to emerge, come up from below the subway, from the caves and from the dark woods I had visited. They emerged. I watched through the tears of clarity, many forms of being I had never seen before, come to join us, or come to join us once more. Whatever, whoever could be, was possible. or had been forgotten for long ago, now joined us. Now indeed, us joined us once more, came to light that morning.
One of the POG faithful workers on behalf of poetry, Rocko Foltz.
I'm gonna read just some lines I've put together from various essays. They're all in the collection on Coming After, but I'm just gonna read them without saying which essays they're from because that would make it choppier than it needs to be. But if you want to know, ask me and I'll tell you. Yeah. Everything is of a time and use that pass as we press on endlessly towards the so-called new form, new poem. Who of us will be the winner of the Ultimate Progress Prize, the Genius of the Future Award? One, and I seem to believe anyone, has a secret self, a rather delicately pondering inner person. Much of poetry exists to communicate with this entity. Poetry is primarily the line. A poem tends to think by making quick sound associations forced upon it by the exigency of an approaching white margin. The white space defines, I thought, as well as being a non-narcissistic possibility. How could a girl have a line? How did they choose one? Was the choice arbitrary or signaled in a dream vision? How could they settle for one? How can you define yourself in that way? How can you keep the mold? Do you have a real name? There are infinite ways to stop and play, not just to segment and articulate a line, but to be in it and enjoy the space, as if that were the whole point. One stays gladly in each line, as if it were a room. Really, I want to know what other poets think they're doing, and I'd like in general a plainer discussion of poetics, which depends on, as metrics does, a constant renewal as the occasion of speaking is renewed. A new definition each time, no jargon or rigid vocabulary. An author's voice, that is her and is later of her. It came directly from her body. The linear procedure of the poem should be either true or disputable.
Charles Borkhuis has traveled from San Diego to join us tonight to honor Alice, so please, Charles.
Charles, thanks for inviting me to this reading. It's a wonderful celebration of Alice, and it's my memories are so clear and vivid, and I know that she's with us, listening somehow, somewhere tonight. This is from Mysteries of Small Houses. How we spent the last year of his life. Ted's mother, Peggy, dies in July, and Ted dies the following July. The year between a painful mess. It's raining as usual in Paris. Who would want to talk of this? And if I don't, the book is diminished. But in explorations of a self, I'm speaking of a dying person, embedded in certain ways, self to self. With me, how will we extricate each other to exist as separate essentials? How do we spend this last year of his life, though bitterly fighting with friends. This poem is prosaic. Danger, waters, coming. I remember the song. He refers to it in a poem. The day before Peg dies, or is it that day? Hold me tight. I haven't the heart, or prosaic still, not to hold you tight, but to tell the whole silly story, the deeply traumatizing, trivial events of the entirely censorship of a remarkable short collaborative poem of ours from a downtown Mimeo magazine, presumably because it contained the word motherfuckers. Question? Mark? Stead? Because I am still pissed off. We tried to draw attention to this outrage, but were reshuffled as druggies from hell. But our locals included the anti-censorship companions of the world. I'm obviously not saying the names. That's not the poetry. The poetry's when you fall asleep inside him and dream of his Egyptian tomb. When for months, while he's asleep, you wake up and look to see if he's breathing through you, only admitting to yourself he may just have a few years left. No, that sounds like prose. We didn't feel welcome in the Poetry Project anymore. He writes a lovely poem about us, and watching Fred Astaire and Joan Leslie in a less well-known movie. Can all this be to the point? A self's good, a fragile house that doesn't fall, and the bad are good too. I don't know what I mean. I seem to be a crypto-Christian. The magic in death opens the ground, and when the dying one disappears, like Oedipus at Colonus, the alive ones both, devastated and exalted, because the poetry's beneath the prose of who's had bad behavior, ours or theirs. One is fatigued with behavior in Lucky and Now, and because of some others, for me, will stay trapped in the place of death's mystery. There's a mystery too that reminds us of purity and how hard it is to forgive. Not rationally, that's easy, but truly, a soul, your soul, can't free itself of your actions. Watch your step. Prose, not poetry.
Farid Matuk, please.
I'm afraid this is going too fast. I don't think we're supposed to stop. I don't think Alice would want us to stop. I don't think we're supposed to just be able to go home. I would like to fall asleep here with you reading me, Alice. And then when I wake up, I'll read to you and you can fall asleep. I, the people. I, the people, to the things that are, were, and come to be. We were once what we know when we make love, when we go away from each other because we have been created at 10th and A in winter, and of trees and of the history of houses, we hope we are. Notes of the musical scale of heaven. I, the people so repetitious in my vision of the hold, the neighbors loosely here in light of gel, my vision, come out of my eyes to hold you, surrounded you in gold, and you don't know it, ever, everyone. We, the people, having our visions of gold and silver and silken liquid, light flowed from our eyes and caressing all around all the walls. I am a late pre in this dawn of we, the people, to the things that are and were and come to be. Once what we knew was only, and numbers became. It is numbers and gold, and at 10th and A, you don't have to know it ever. Opening words that show that we were once the first to recognize the immortality of numbered bodies, and we are the masters of hearing and saying at the double edge of body and breath. We, the lovers, and the eyes all over, inside her, when the wedding is over and the park lies cold and lifeless. I, the people, whatever is said by the first one along Angel Agate, I wear your colors. I hear what we say and what we say, and I, the people, am still parted in two and would cry.
Cynthia Hogue. There, right before me.
Yes. What a brilliant evening. Thank you, Charles, Cynthia Hogue, Chax Press, for bringing us together, and of course, Alice. I was going to read the last poem of The Descent of Alice. But instead, I'm going to read, yes. No surprise. I'm going to read this short poem that comes a bit before, and I realized it's Alice's version of that country western ballad, Don't Fence Me In. The pupils of my owl eyes grew even larger. I could see faintly outlined the rivulets and their nearby destinations. Beyond the threshold of the darkness, the river's corridor widened into an immense chamber. The streams flowed there into a semicircle of grottos, room-sized, smooth, cupuloed caves. Each stream had its own grotto. There were 5 of each. 4 of the grottos were constructed of gray cement, made by technological process, but one grotto was pink, soft and undulant, uneven, soft and fleshy, though firm too, rather pallet-like. It was surrounded by a high spiked mesh fence with a padlocked door. A sign hung on the door. This fence is electrified. I easily flew over it.
One of the people who quite often in my mind holds POG together and almost all the time holds Chax Press together is Cynthia Miller, who will be next, and she is also one of the great artists of this part of the world, and we'll have an exhibit in a week that you may be able to see. It'll only be up a couple of days, but ask me about that later if you're interested.
Yay.
Alice was very tall. When she stayed with us, she moved into Charles' bathrobe, and it became hers, so we call it Alice now. And what a force. There we go. I just picked some excerpts from, again, the same book John picked, Benediction. This was published in 2015. This is a killer book, but there's no poems in here that are not 3 or 4 pages long, and they evolve and things go. And I'm not going to treat you to all that. I pulled a few things out I thought might be useful to writers. So that's I teach painting, so I'm always in that mode, unfortunately. You don't even disappear. You are carried peacefully backwards to the fact that you don't disappear. Let me say that again. You don't even disappear. You are carried peacefully backwards to the fact that you don't disappear. I thought you might like it. The city of all unconsciousness can come conscious. I don't remember where we bright shadows were, clearer than the sun, kinder than light last night. How had we previously been so attached to our actions down there? I only wanted to find you near the river of happiness and hand you a glass of it. I can't remember who you were. A previous alphabet being poured out of a cylindrical container. I thought it was a scroll, but it was a bottle, wasn't it? The previous alphabet was as a liquid, which I choose as now. That's it.
A couple of names I have that I don't think they're here. Do I see?
Karen is not.
Okay. And Johanna's not here? I don't think either. So, well, no, I want to invite 3 of my closest friends and poetry friends up here to end the evening. Along with me, we're going to read the last 4 poems in Reason and Other Women. And that is Tenny Nathanson, Stephen Salmoni, and David Weiss. And so you'll have 4 men reading Reason and Other Women, which I have no reason for, but we'll do it anyway. And so please, come up, and each of these poems is like 2 pages in an oversized book, so everybody's been really good on time, but we may test your patience a little bit, hopefully not too much. Just remember, you can go out, as Don't Fence Me In would have it, you can go out to the starry sky above when we're done. So, Tenny, you're our first. We're just going to kind of come up and keep going. We're not really going to spend time between these, and then we'll stop at the end.
It's a little hard to see this one.
You want to read from the book? Is that easier?
They should harmonize.
Let's try. All right. So, plus it's hard to read this, but Pillar of Flame. Why is she selling a room of the house? That's how I know she isn't me in the basement. I in her bathrobe and blonde, though many blondes are blonde and gray. She leans against the wall and ignores me in order to tell a man that she must sell a room of the house for a person's or a community's or for poetry's sake. So she isn't me and is measured in inches for the selling. But I'm not selling an inch of mine, not knowing what except that there has never been and will not be an anarchy. I mean, it's an archy to mean It's too meaningful to ever be in crystal, going deeper into my basement where nothing has been sold, and there are mosaics and frescoes, little fathers who are now harmless praying in dirt for all where leaves met and the orchards tangled, but brutal, wild, and brutal vines singly, not selling, because that would be sold as archy, is to sell arch, is a selling of this air, so and below their feet on dirt, floor, and below. Voices trying met the walls in purity. Most, why is she selling a room of her house? And she isn't me, but the concept or psychic enactment of the double has been what I watch as a sadness of the first world. She is receding as I make a litter of first world images and re-enter the mosaics and voices of the second, of the mind intimate as air is to me. Not a notion of deity. This is where the sentences are breaking down. Not selling, but loosing as an archy is a selling. Why is she selling things in bare feet there? Pad, in who are harmless voices, harmless saying. Voices, I crown us with their dancing and twist in long air, the smiles of orange lines, winged can't, concert to the macro of loosening, so that then I hear and change words, like heart to a tearing of a tangle of images. I'd pass through, I'm walking towards voice engulfs. She is buying her crown, thinks she's practical. Sit at failure like a soul. Brain hears you, hears them, brain in skin, nails. Don't sell it, this page won't work, but don't. Let go of it, don't let go yet, because of sensations deep down in my building, deep to the feet past the basement, and down in the dark near now, a cave of light. Is this a failure? The phrase about failure always crowds in street. Stretto-like phrases about heart crowd in like traders and like those though ones. What word have meaning in the L, trees in these litter of first world crowding, open a space I walk towards and towards. It takes a lot of mess to get here. I am walking towards a barred room of light. Can be inside, don't have to pass the bars like a stove. And in the burning light, that's all. Anything, that's all if you say it. Just say it like a definitive first world person. I am walking into and am in standing. In there is no cell here or anarchy. There is no end in the faces of the fire, and in the faces of the fire, voices crying out, I am love is all he can say. Fierce brother crying out, love like a large cat with a red fire face. Do you believe him? Yes, voice, I think, and I think this as I am thinking, all this at once. The fire's red as the soul, now bright red, spreading pillar of fire. I stand in it with him. It isn't burning, it's an angel, which means a different thing. The foe is sprung, the foe is self, the foe is sprung, the foe is self, and self one is left behind. And one is here, can't explain, pulling arms and pulling me into deeper. Believe firearms, pull into. It's repeating, but I can't be repetition. It keeps being the same, but I can't say it the same. Fire across the room, red fire, is there they would say point to, is there a point to being here, being red fire repetition? Listen, all the mothers and fur fathers are in here, soul in basement, where the dreams starting, and she sold it. She'd sell it for a daily crown, for a passage in history. I can't want that. I want it all, and always which burns up from this depths. I am fire, once him sprung, pulling me, make it room, fire, where passage, same being here. Surrounded by faces which are voices, choirs of chants, not what you think it was, never chance, the free, the liberations, bountiful involve all other birds and flower for grass, chants all other birds and flower grass, chants the free, the liberations, bountiful involve all other kinds of birds and flowers, chants the free here is the free here. If she sells it, that's what she sells, and if you sell it, that's what you sold. You are selling this, you are here with me, yet you're selling your consciousness. You have sold your conscious knowledge, and these flames of this redness, you've sold it for a passage of words and for a feeling. This isn't a feeling, it's our presence, the waves in it, a spinal cord, a length of self, a flow to, and a torn. Ecstatic thought as thick as. He is crying me, he should just break. Who she is crying me break. Someone else's heart is this too, let the flame back away and go back to let the flame back away. I should have brought you back, I'm sorry, I should have brought you back, brought back an ethic, a bit of this flame is all I can say. It hurts because I can't make it be an object or rule, can barely act by it as I go on, so it hurts as I can say. My arms ache, let the red love back away, who she is crying me, a spinal cord and all flow, a musical herein, the point where dreams start to be pictures, crowd the heart of it, the basement, then recede as flames. Don't sell it now.
David White.
I lost the voices prior. Tell me anything other better. Tell me anything, any earring of whatever color, black coral, they heave back towards me, but also hidden from view. It's just something. I had lost what it said, but there is no memory here. I am losing everything if I continue at this voice, so no memory voice called no memory only voice. The black coral touches thou, those earrings are remarkably light. I left mine in the corner of the house in the pines near a beach, near an ocean. Diminishing fishes go upstairs to find my shoes. Meet him, meet some him, or one on time. This is not a meme. It is a parallel construction. It is not parallel, but interwoven second universe where I first met only one saintly brunette in 1979, according to a book. She says she still needs to concentrate in order to be, and so does he, the other saint of the holy intellect. You have to concentrate your mind, which is the proof of the existence of, call it God, I don't want to, but the non-scientifically demonstrable other that can only and does not always know as it's oneself. But the difference between oneself and justice, reason, and love is that the latter three, which is as nature blend and shift through ladies three, may represent them. The latter are obscured in oneself through the being of oneself. That is, there is no difference exactly. There is knowing and not knowing. One far reaches, one infinite reaches as city, with a sky that tends outward where the very herbs and grasses know that too. The bookstore in the first world is going out of business tonight. A bright room with polished wood floors, blonde of course, but first before coming here, I had bought earrings for all under $4, which are where the black coral ones distraught in a corner. They are going long and light and white, black as a feeling intermixed with one's blood and other fluids undetectable by sigh. But the theme of color of the bookstore seems to be blue, not as in a porno, but as in blues, as in a sad reason immersed in a river. All the books in the store are somehow blue, known as blue spines or blue titles. Sometimes they're Spanish blue, not Spanish red, which I've heard of too. The last book has been sold. I went back in for someone else that else had finally bought it. It seems that I will be allowed no more blue now, nor the restrooms which are filthy, which are shitty and the dink. Everyone's been using them out, kept out of sight. I wouldn't so respect sanded floors, but certainly are there women and arguing boy because the owner who may be sackcloth, but I can't remember any more. I've been shifted through to other city. Inside expanding crystal cubes, suddenly nothing but intellect doing nothing. The only way to be good is to clash goodness. Always clashes now. More blue because we're in a world of red or of Byzantine mosaics, even if your world prefers that. And I said, lady, reasons tall dress in blue, but that is the sky as you see it. It isn't really blue because she isn't really a woman, as I'm not, for instance, nor for the mosaics red inside, expanding crystal cube, nothing but intellect doing, like flexing large muscles like that. Be an actress eye, as in the one flexing large muscles in the disco. With the prom ball, there is no memory here. So here can't really end or resolve, the intellect becoming more concentrated in knowing of the crystal city, its planes and shapes which are sharp, almost razor edge, nonetheless shift all the time, and nonetheless exude a warmth. It is bleeding me, all of my red. It is using it for pictures, these pictures all along you have surely seen. You're surely seen if you've stayed with me through, though I've forgotten them. Intellect doing nothing but concentrating more and more the ethic may be to do this. Somehow like making a shoes. There's something wrong with their mouths. They're for a while a temporary speech impediment, my beloveds. 2 of them have centered a kind of museum of where we used to work, which is now hung with tapestries containing round pictures satirical of the institution's past. Or you could use it as a bedspread. Even the director is full of scurrilous gossip. Who slept with who, he slept with who, thou, so the first world has intruded again. It seems to maintain its museum here. And a woman named me again enters, oversees the parade of soft pictures, soft tapestry pictures of what's becoming the past. Now the speech impediment of the visitors is only temporary. Will you live with me in easy space? I am concentrating my intellect. I mean soul away from the shallow uses as vocabulary cuts and slices of blurs and blotches and towards a point of points. All the angels on the beads of these pens are my and light of my other body. Avenue lying there where 2 and 1 is sleeping and 1 and Y is the pen that's all surround white, the body of concentration, spreading outward, bread spread, speeding one account and telling like a hawk swoop, down to a pin. Hawk have red dots all over the pieces, rubies and rubies' eyes. Remember I made it years ago, but it saw me concentration. Does it work otherwise because the circle swoops and cries out? As it saw me, my concentration saw me always standing in the door of the church, always just a door of your church, but I am long past the door of my basilica. I awoke and there was another me, because my real body was in the process of being painted the color of light, not blue but white. Long ago, I don't remember. I'm concentrating hard as possible now, and the way I do, means nothing to you. I realize as the holy spring in the canyon, there are still hawks and snakes in the first world willows and birds of all white. There are petroglyphs of the caved rock petroglyphs which can act as a memory. This remembers me to you. I realize the walk past the door of the basilica is inwards, and the canyon or altar mass with real wild grapevines within are undoubtedly many rattlesnakes. A spring trickles from the vines. Nature exists here. I can't remember it. Nature exists here. Symmetry, the number 2 legs in the wash or in the aisle. The second world intersecting here, and the intellect is here.
Thank you. This is called Lilies. Just a quick caveat. There is a line here which is really uncomfortable and painful to read, for me maybe to hear, but it's Alice's, and in the spirit of radical honesty that is Alice, I read it to you here. So, Lilies. I'm buying a lot of papers, but one set is missing. It's the News or the Times. I think it's the Times that missing. You can't buy the on some avenue in some city in some country. Keeps being missing, and across the street from the newsstand unfolds the saga of old clothes. The saga of the second-hand clothes of and for the poor. And for the poor, who else cares for who in symmetry in all of telepathy, in symmetry in telepathy does? Some man's ex-girlfriend, who else is, who has sold old clothes? A brown girl with a hazel-eyed brown ex-boyfriend has sold piles of old clothes for $15,000, which is a good price, but a pitiful price is the price of the poor's clothes. But if these clothes, these same clothes, were owned by the rich, they would cost more. You could sell them more second-hand, grown richer in time and time. And these clothes, at the same time as being sold, are being distributed to the poor. The pricing of them and the payment to their origin is part of the fabric, so to speak, of their use. They are being distributed to the poor, the very poor. For these are what else, the very clothes of the poor, and she's giving them to me, or is it another set? What could the difference be? I don't know. If it's the same set or a different one. Their former owner's a man who has given them to her, who has given them to me, a child's coat with fur trim, has excrement smeared on it. I will leave that and take all the rest, assume them, and distribute them. There are feelings among these clothes. My feelings are sharp and poignant. The clothes are at the same time as being priced and sold distributable and being distributed free. They are on the shelf in a large room or store as I gather them up. The clothes of the poor, dark winter. These are all dark as for winter. In symmetry, they are my gifts. I have made from us, that is your gifts, I have made into clothes what has been given us the poor know, but not others who have can not know, and those having much haven't gifts because they have them. Isn't clothes against winter, which has been here all summer in the north of the universe, as if near the convergence of warm waters with icy waters might drown in them and poignant because of feelings, and the knowledge of those with possessions are as muted and have had enough of their eyes, of their habits, which aren't clothes. For others, you say, don't we only need crystal clothes? Here, maybe. And we don't need the times here, maybe. And the news is not the news being distributed by us, the icy waters of the convergence are all dark as winter, though in symmetry of north and south, a symmetry of I and you, out of which all the pieces of telepathy were formed. Can you talk to evil in it all the time, like a bird, like a caw, or whir of hummingbird wing, have made them from everyone, busy as death, with death, lives for lives. In their first world, little markets of clothes to impress in so many ways for your eyes, for your old black deathly habits, and the walls of your prison, skirts and ties, the pieces of hard glass jewels, the north and south of factions, sides in national history so deathly important as each creates a chaos or whirlwind in place, priced and sold, distributable as a reason in large room or store to buy whatever. Somebody bought so they could always come back to prison the stale black fabric of the words of Mr. B, look at me. Different tribes, each with its way of torturing the enemy. Isn't that interesting? Curved down into the ground. Embrace a culture, watch a dance, listen to a lying narrative, a stage at one end where a live dead man will perform, and on the wall is an admired story by a lying woman, but who lies she surely doesn't, not someone you know, only in the twisted other unknown where symmetry twists down and around. Watch a dance. Is there lying? I know, I say, I know my song. I know is my song. I know a place in the world where lies are told very near, where lies are told overlooking the curving trellis which bends into the ground like the head of a, And ratio rat named Maluka is called I sometimes think I could rat named Maluka is called I sometimes think I could get closer to a woman if I raped her. If I sometimes think I could get closer to the poor if I raped them. If I took their clothes and sold them myself. Do you know this song? This is the song of a friend who isn't even rich. Night is deathy with day to day, with lovely sunshine full of the garments of the rich, the oil-soaked black clothes, the material embrace that everyone wills you to embrace it. And if I distribute the clothes, the second-hand clothes, the knowing of the war against the winter, they'll be used to make lies and fuel roofs for factories, pieces of useless new sentences. So there are no clothes in crystal, perhaps. There can't be clothes in the second crystal, mutedly reddened, mosaic world, as there will be only telepathy. There'll be no clothes, they say, and all your lives will blow away if you tell the truth. Now you can get ready for nakedness. Nobody wants to hear, nobody ever wants to hear such nakedness. The former handler of the clothes must be dead now. Is that why there is such poignancy, such sharpness attached to them? As I handle them, distribute them to you, distribute them, and then afterwards, I can be naked. At least I can be.
First, thank you to all of them. This is difficult to read, and every line in this is a poetic line, even though it looks like it just absolutely fills the page. And the end poem is called The Scary Old Building. The city is the city of you, and I am the building. The church was spreading. The city is you. Is that enough? There is no such thing as a tent in which I'm separated into several. They look like requin, like frequency bands. Is that I know that's science or metaphor or something besides myself? These patterns will sink me if I don't watch out for such thing. She put the sink in the closet in my room, but I survived its presence again, and again. They enter us, our house, and announce they will stay for a day, for 24 hours. The frequency of their presence, are they, you, shatters me into different patterns, yet I am whole. One, a pattern shattered me to talk to you. A pattern talks to you too. You think this is so nice that I can be partial. When I'm partial, I seem to be like, but I'm not like this, is the social. They enter us and announce, be like us. For hours I say, I hate this city. I loathe you unless it's crystal. And you don't know that you're here. And you can't, can't shatter me into frequencies, anger and courage, our love. They are partial, though our frequencies. I hate you. Our love is a frequency, a pattern. You, hair is sticking up. Put something on it. Rub it down in front of the mental hospital. Our pools, deep pools of city water, deep holes in the city. Snow in the winter of the social of the city. Of you and a woman and a child are drowning. No one tries to save them. I pull her out, but the child is lost. Is the baby now lost? The child is gone. I'm the only one who tried. You can't say that. Yes, I can say that, or anything if I want to. It's one pattern in the way you've shattered me. He turns into natives. He turns into a culture, and it isn't good. His face is crumbling. It's split. Begs me not to go upstairs in my own house, the house of myself. But I'll go there, though it's scary, and not be split again, though the boards from the outside, though the outside of my small house, my veritable basilica, is brown, old, scary boards, and upstairs may be full of snakes or spooks. I'll go up there for sure. It's my house. It's I first. I live on the first floor with Technique, a blonde called Saint. She has a girl's room, but my room's long and dark with open windows. She has a holy mien and a folk song, so she has frills all around her bed. She has the toilet in her room, and one must pass by much prissiness to shit there in the room of Technique, the room of religion, which has assumed the basics of elimination, so you can't do anything right towards saintly. You can't shit unless she says you can. I go, forbid, upstairs anyway. The occupant comes down, that old man who has his own songs, 2, he charms the downstairs occupants, and I stay upstairs, but where I am is my house. Where I am is my house, though the crystal city intersects there, but not necessarily the first world. One part is what is pure, and one part is what is remembered, and one part is facile emotion. Emotion, it's all old part of what now, one part of what is pure. Which frequency do you see me? Well, you don't, of course, on top of the scary house. I am there's a sort of bridge to the desert motel, and to the desert, and to the desert. There was some technique involved, but didn't have to be there. Was some old religious imagery, but didn't have to be in all of universal being and knowing. There only has to be you and me. So if I hate you because you see unity as all us, and I see simply unity if we hate us, because you want me to be like you, and I want just to be the frequencies of this and that are the distractions of your culture. One part is facile emotion, one part is new technique, one part is ruled by jack of this or that frequency. If then there are no doors except endlessly, I will withdraw in the hate that is love. Withdraw to the second store. Send the old man down to sing you songs and distract you so I can find out everything scary. So I can finally be in the scary second part where you would never let me go. The meaning of the second part, it was up one flight, fly, so don't keep looking down. I won't. I'm going to look around. He's sort of a landlord who went down, and he sure knows his culture. Some point in dream, the jack of hearts, the jacking up of the tired old same, the vehicle of your clamor, divided into frequencies, anger, sorrow, courage, etc., madness, retardation, violent reaction to the awful music, the eating of the wrong other, the assertion of own stupid mirror murder by neglect, the butter family sliding across the mirror, grease it and grease it. Did her small child drown? But that was only one, you say, begs me not to go upstairs ever. But I have gone, and the stars here are long and dark, with open windows. No one here, but all of crystal, us and I. You don't have to know it, so quiet and undivided into frequencies. There is no sound except the slightest vibration that crystal makes utterly still in the night upstairs. Open, open the mosaics of you, the icons, so still, no making. Thanks, everybody. Stay and eat some food. There's copies of this book for sale for, I think it's, well, it was $21, so we just turned it around, so it's $12 a night.
And we have a cake. If people want to sing, I'll go get it.
Yes, and we have a cake for Alice, and I'll certainly sing happy birthday to her. It was tempting to sing, what is the give me land, lots of land, neath the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Yes. Thank you.